The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Everybody and their mama has something to say about Kamala Harris's blackness.
You better thank a union member for paid leave.
You trying so hard to be black.
I can't find any evidence that Kamala Harris is black.
Kamala being relatable to the black experience is completely false.
But none more so than her opponent, Republican candidate for president, Donald J. Trump.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir.
The nerve of this white man to question the authenticity of anyone's blackness, especially in a country that at one time said that anyone with a drop of blackness in their blood was black. I had to talk about this with someone, and there's no one else in this country better to discuss this with than Dr. Carl Mack. Dr. Carl Mack, it has been a while since you and I have had a chance to get together and talk. How have you been?
Fam, I've been so cool in the game.
That clip in itself, Dr. Mack, is triggering, not only because of what he said about Kamala Harris, but by how he's treating that black woman who's asking him the questions. What are your immediate thoughts?
You got Lil Donnie at NABJ speaking to a black woman, being extremely disrespectful, and then disrespecting the ethnicity of another black woman, and in doing so, disrespecting all of us as black folks. Now that Lil Donnie has had the audacity to question the ethnicity of a black woman, of a black person, period. I don't know if it's my imagination or am I seeing a bunch of Black MAGAs began to pick up the leadership, the poison pill that Lil Donnie has put in them. I'm saying I've seen it from an evangelical perspective. I've seen it from political. I've seen it from black influencers. Now, is it my imagination or is this what we're seeing?
It's certainly not your imagination, Dr. Mack, and it is a strategy. It is a strategy that they're using because they understand the power of the black vote and they understand the power of black covering, which if you remove that covering, you see the kind of attacks that you have. You have a certain segment of the black community that has stood down and said that they are not going to protect Kamala Harris because they are now saying that she's not black, despite her father being from Jamaica, being Jamaican. That's exactly what you're seeing right now.
And Ben, I gotta ask this question to all of those so pro-black folks. If she ain't black, let's go back to the first woman to make such a run for such an office. Let's take a look at Shirley Chisholm. Where is Shirley Chisholm's folks from? Because it is clear that Kamala's daddy is black. Mama is Indian. And so the mere fact that she would embrace both sides of her culture, I mean, what would you expect? That in order to be pro-black, I'm going to deny my mama and lost your ever-loving mind? No, she's going to embrace that Indian side of her. She's going to embrace that Jamaican side of her. You Black MAGAs are talking about Kamala as though she's Rachel Dolezal. Let's not forget that now. See, we're talking about a white woman. Her mama was white. Her daddy was white. You go inside their origin, Czech, German, Swedish, I believe. White, white, white. But this is a white woman who chose to embrace the black culture. Okay, sister, Rachel, I ain't tripping with you about that. But are you black? No. See, this ain't the case with Kamala. Her origin has her blackness. And on top of that, she has lived as a black woman.
That's right.
So now all of a sudden, your white massa tells you to question her ethnicity, and there y'all go down that tree. So I'm gonna say it again to you. Are you saying to me, Black MAGAs, that you can't accept her black Jamaican, her Jamaican daddy Is that what you're saying to me?
It sounds like they're saying that you're not Black if you're Jamaican. And it sounds like one of these arguments that you hear from groups like ADOS, the American Descendants of Slaves, and FBA, Fundamental Black Americans, who are saying that the only people who can actually be Black, Dr. Mack, are those people who were not only born in the United States of America, but their lineage goes back to slavery. That's what it sounds like they're trying to say.
Now, I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two of my blackest heroes. I'm gonna give you Marcus Garvey, and I present to you Malcolm X. I give you both of them. Okay, so Marcus born into slavery, but Jamaica, right? Malcolm's daddy was born in Georgia, but where was his mama born? His mama was born in Grenada. So what? We finna dismiss Malcolm? We finna dismiss Shirley Chisholm? Are we gonna dismiss Harry Belafonte? Oh, I tell you what, Ben, let's kick Cicely Tyson out too, because her folks came from Nevis, West Indies. Let's kick her out. What is wrong with you folks? This little white man done sat on stage and totally disrespected us as a people, let alone what he did to Kamala. And you don't even have the ability to think critically about it, so that you now questioning what is Black and who is Black. Where they do that at?
In a couple of places, Dr. Mack, we're seeing it more and more. We're seeing a large group of people, of Black people, who, for whatever their motivation, and you and I have talked about it, and we'll break it down as much as we can in this episode. But there seems to be a lot of motivation behind individuals who are pushing the primary message. Their core message is that Kamala Harris is not Black, number one. The second primary message is that we should not be concerned with immigrants, Black immigrants even. We see now the push of these same people. You're going to see a one-to-one relationship. The same people who are now piling on to Kamala Harris saying that she isn't Black, you're going to find that they are the same exact people who are adding on to this Haitian cat lie that was started by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance about the Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. They're the same people who are trying to attack any immigrant and trying to isolate Black folks in America from a broader diaspora.
Ben, I'm gonna tell you right now, Brother Malcolm, this would be an appropriate time for him to remind those folks that you didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock is landing on you. See, in this example, think about this, Ben, when we're talking about immigrants and who are good and who ain't. This is the same thing that Lil Donnie did with, what did he say about immigration? See, we're thinking Lil Donnie is against immigration. No, he's not. Lil Donnie said it real clear. I'm just against immigration from those shithole countries. However, when you start talking about Norway and Sweden and those types of countries, well, those are the type of immigrants that we want. And so now here, Black folks talking about you against immigrants. I want you to understand something when it comes to the diaspora, right? The only difference between our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and here in the United States was a boat ride, fam. That's the only difference between us and them. You put some of them up next to us, you can't, nobody says anything, you can't do it. But the mere fact that we're having this question about what is and who is Black is amazing, because your master done planted that seed to the point that you would now question that. And again, Ben, I've seen it from evangelical leaders, entertainers. Yeah, and I got to tell you, Ben, it damn near broke my heart when I saw the latest of it come from Janet Jackson, right? Broke my heart. I'm sitting here looking at this article in The Guardian where she says, well, that's what I was told. I get the misinformation. And then a reporter tries to correct her, right? And she kind of leaves it there. So the next day when this so-called apology comes out, I'm like, okay, I'm giving grace to Janet. She supported Black Lives Matter, the Jackson family. You ain't been living in the United States for a minute, so let me give you grace. But then the guy who offers the apology, he gets fired. And now it's like, hey, Randy is leading me. So then I got to looking into Randy. And all of a sudden you find out that Randy is a conspiracy theorist, embraces, follows Trump, all in the RFK. So when I'm looking at that, and I haven't heard an apology, I got to start accepting the fact that maybe Janet got a little DNA MAGA in her, because Randy appears to have it, but clearly a lot of us appear to have that. And again, when we start on this road of questioning Blackness. You know, you have to unpack a lot of things, and you better be willing to dismiss a lot of folks, because if you're going to dismiss Kamala because she embraces her Indian mama and her Jamaican daddy, and AKA as a sorority, and an HBCU Howard University as her institution. If you want to dismiss her for those reasons, then, like I said, be ready to throw away Malcolm X. Be ready to throw away Harry Belafonte. Be ready to throw away Colin Powell, who was born of Jamaican immigrants, and his mama was Scottish Jamaican, right? So be ready to throw them away. Throw Shirley Chisholm away. Throw Cicely Tyson away. Just throw them all away. And then embrace what you consider Blackness. Clarence Thomas.
Coming up, this black influencer says he was offered a huge bag by white networks to attack black immigrants.
There's a huge bag for that. Let me tell y'all something. I've gotten calls from these white networks wanting to put me on and give me a real big bag.
We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Show right after this.
I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'm a ride for the squad. Let her ties in the hearse. I've been on the vibe kind of hard.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
Let's go a little bit further here, because even from a historical perspective, my first thought when these conversations come up about Vice President Harris's ethnicity is we're living in a land that itself constituted and created a one-drop rule, a land that said that if you even have one drop of blackness in you, that you're black, and now we see the same people who created that rule at the time to benefit themselves then are now changing their own rule and say, no, wait a minute. You're not, it doesn't matter if your father was Jamaican, you're not really black. And I think I'm confident that it's because they understand the power of the black vote. They understand what happens when black people rally in solidarity. They know the kind of cover black people give one another when we're marching in black solidarity. But now you have black folks who are doing the job of now saying, okay, no, you're not black. But from a historical perspective, this is a game that white supremacy has played for a long time.
Man, I'll take you back to 1636, man. I'll take you back to 1636 in the colony of Virginia. Now, I'm living here in Maryland, so Virginia is literally a stone's throw away from me. I think the Latin term for it was partus secrum ventrum. It's the Latin term for it. So what was happening in 1636 is that you had these white men who were having relations with these enslaved black women. And as a result of this baby being born, these sisters were now suing for the freedom, for their freedom, as well as the freedom of their children. And because it was so prevalent, they passed a law. They passed this law, partus secrum ventrum. They passed this law that said that the status of the child shall follow the womb. That is what the Latin term partus secrum ventrum means, to follow the womb. So why did you have to pass a law like this? Because that's how much coffee these white men wanted to dip in. That's how much coffee they wanted to dip in. So they started this. And so now, even when we talk about what is black, Ben, I don't know if you know of a man named Walter White. Walter White was the first president of the NAACP nationally. You put a picture up of Walter White, you're going to see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man. And yet that man will tell you that he lived his life as a black man and that he is a black man. See, Walter White was born in Georgia. His daddy looked just like him, and his daddy was born into slavery. Now, his daddy looked just like him. That picture you looking at of Walter White, that's exactly what his daddy looked like. His mama looked exactly like him, blonde hair, blue-eyed. His mama was born into slavery. Now, to help you understand that, family, I want you to take a look at the census of 1860. And when you look at the census, you're going to see that they categorize the population of Georgia in these categories. They got white, male, female, free colored, male, female, and they're going to have mulatto. And then under slave, instead of just black, they got slave, black, and mulatto. So going back and remembering what happened in Virginia, you better understand how you make a mulatto child to be counted. You ain't making no mulatto child because a black enslaved man dipped his stick into some cream. You having a mulatto child because that white man wanted to taste that coffee. Remember, the status of the child follows the womb. So a white man and an enslaved black woman is going to make what would be called a mulatto child. A white woman ain't about to get it on with an enslaved black man, and then that child is going to be free. Not only is that child ain't going to be free, but that black man ain't going to be living either, as we know. So when you look at this census and you see the term mulatto, understand where that's coming from. So Walter White said this in his autobiography, A Man Called White. He said, when you look at my features, I know what you see, but I live my life because I understand my heritage. I am a Negro. And this man went deep in the South to investigate atrocities committed against black people. So when we talk about what is black, obviously we define black by skin color. Obviously we're defining black by your heritage, what your mama is, what your daddy is. And obviously we're defining black by how you live your life and how you identify. Because now there are a lot of folks who look like Walter White and went through an imitation of life, meaning they passed.
That's right.
So you have a lot of ingredients that go into what is black, right? And so in the case of this man, you would look at him and dismiss him as a lot of white folks did. And they ended up telling him about the atrocities of what they did to black folks. And that's what made him so effective within the framework of the NAACP. And then again, Ben, you got some of us who are so black we midnight black. Clarence Thomas kind of black. Ain't no doubt you look at him, he's black. But what has Clarence Thomas done for the culture? So there's a lot of things when you want to talk about who is black, what is black. There's a lot of ingredients. And clearly, Kamala Harris ain't part of that discussion. The woman identifies Indian and black. She's lived as a black woman. She ain't Rachel, ain't got no blackness in her, but just embracing the black culture. And she ain't Clarence Thomas, who's black and rejects the culture. She is a black woman. The problem here is not how Kamala identifies. The problem is for us as black folks, and in particular, you Black MAGAs, you have not gotten inside of understanding the history. And if you have, and if you do understand the culture and you understand the history, which helps you to think critically, all I could come to is that biblical understanding of what Judas did to Jesus and why he did it. Them dirty 30 pieces of silver.
Coming up, demeaning black people for white audiences has always been popular, but now it's viral.
Every mayor of Chicago has been corrupt. That we know. The problem with Brandon is that his IQ is so low that he don't know how to be corrupt, right? And so
we'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Show right after this.
I'm in line with the stars, I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad, let her ties in the hearse.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
You know, we've talked about Black MAGA, and we know that Black MAGA, they want Donald Trump to win. They definitely understand the way for Donald Trump to win is to divide the black vote, and they're doing their job. But what blows me away is this segment of black Democrats. this percentage that dropped. Harris is only getting about 77% of the Black vote as compared to all of these other figures. What in the world is going on with these Black Democrats, these Black people who supported Joe Biden, who are now not supporting Kamala Harris?
Man, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back again to my hero, brother Malcolm, who told me. He told me, and I listened to him. The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman. Brother Malcolm, are you sure? Are you sure? Well, I tell you what, Malcolm, speaking to me from the grave, said, Carl, I want you to go back and look at just the last 4 presidential elections. Barack Obama in 2008, 93% of the Black vote. Hillary Clinton in 2016 presidential election, 88% of the Black vote, white woman. Joe Biden, 4 years later in 2020, 93% of the Black vote. Today, Kamala Harris is now trending at 77% of the Black vote. Malcolm, I hear you. I'm not questioning you. You have proved to me your wisdom today. That wisdom that Brother Malcolm gave us, and even when you go inside of our culture, right? The only woman to ever lead the Black Panther Party movement was a sister named Elaine Brown. So when Huey left her in charge, she talks about the sexism that she faced from Black men. I want to take you back to the March on Washington.
Yes.
At the time, the largest protest in the history of this country. And they talk about the Civil Rights Six. A. Philip Randolph, Martin Luther King, Whitney Young, Roy Wilkins, James Farmer, John Lewis, Baynard Rustin. That's the way history records that movement, as those Black men being the Civil Rights Six, the Big Six. But the only woman who was a part of the March on Washington was a Black woman named Anna Arnold Hedgeman. So Anna Arnold Hedgeman was the only woman on the organizing committee, Ben. And she told these Black men, we need to have more women to be a part of this committee. And we need to have women as speakers. And so when these brilliant Black men put their agenda together, there was not one Black woman to speak at the historic March on Washington. And Anna Arnold Hedgeman wrote the following to these Black men, quote, in light of the role of the Negro woman in the struggle for freedom, and especially in light of the extra burden they have carried because of the castration of the Negro man in this culture, it is incredible that no woman should appear as a speaker at the historic March on Washington meeting at the Lincoln Memorial, end quote. And as a result, these men now chose Myrlie Evers to be the speaker. And unfortunately, Myrlie couldn't make it. And so Daisy Bates was put into her place. But then there were 5 or 6 other women who spoke at the March on Washington. But Ben, if you added up all the time that they spoke, I don't think that it equaled 5 minutes. So this is the disrespect that we have historically been showing our sisters. Ben, we're not here without a Black woman. The wisdom, the love, the maturation that they've given us. And so as much as I want to believe that I've always appreciated Black women, as I got inside of studying Black women, I'm even more impressed with what they've done. Even when we talk, Ben, historically about SNCC, we think John Lewis. No disrespect, John. No disrespect at all. Go back and look at Diane Nash. Today we want to talk about ride or die. Where do you think that phrase came from? When they was on them Freedom Ride buses and they were bombing them and burning them, Diane Nash was like ride or die. That's the kind of courage that Black women have been doing. They have been carrying us forever and ever. And the mere fact that we can't find the benefit of the doubt for them and instead can give it to a Black man, okay, I can give you that. But a white man, a white woman,
but not Kamala.
But no, at least that white man and that white woman were of the same party. But now you want to give it, of all people, Black MAGA, you want to give that to little Donnie? Damn, and then question her blackness? Where they do that at?
Coming up next, checks, clicks, and clout.
And if I would start bashing women or talking noise, oh man, the likes and everything would go through the roof.
The reasons why we sell each other out. We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Show right after this.
I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'm a ride for the squad, let her ties in the hearse.
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show. Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
When I say this is triggering, I really mean it, because
believe all that.
Because it really exposes the fractures in the Black community, the weaknesses that we truly have, the fact that we have people who call themselves pro-Black, but when it comes to women, they're less pro-Black. When it comes to immigrants, Black immigrants, they're less pro-Black. And when it comes to financial opportunities, when it comes to getting checks, clicks, and clout, they will sell out their Blackness. And it's something that I've known about this movement for a very long time. The highest paid positions in this country are Black people who will do the bidding of white supremacy, are Black people who will talk bad about a Black group, Black people who know that if they talk bad about Black women, they will get money. If they will talk bad about Black immigrants, they will get clicks, they will get views. And so long as those type of people exist in our community, we will always be a weakened community, when in reality, we have every single reason to move in lockstep solidarity. We may not be a monolith, but we are all fighting the same enemies, and we still have the same type of Judases.
And Ben, let me say this. I think that we both sit in agreement that there are a couple of reasons why we're finding these Black MAGAs and Black folks in general talking bad about Black folks. Number one, they can get the bag, and number two, clicks and clout. You made that distinction. So do you know of people who have done those things that we ought to be talking about?
You know what? It's better. Let's hear it in their own voices, and let's start. Let's start with this conversation. First of all, there is a lot of money in spreading misinformation. The Department of Justice just released, just last month, a report on a number of right-wing influencers who were taking $100,000 per episode, Dr. Mack, $100,000 per episode to spread the information, the propaganda of Vladimir Putin. One of those individuals' name is Tim Pool, who in his own words said that he was duped, that he didn't realize where that money was coming from.
Man, stop. Hold on, Ben. Hold on. I just want to stop you for a minute. I want to be sure that I'm understanding, because there was always this talk about quote unquote Russian interference. Now, so what you're saying is that the Department of Justice has said, yes, there has been interference. And that interference could come in the ways of pushing a false narrative.
That's right.
That's one of the ways, right?
That's right. And
so what you're saying is the motivation to get people to push a false narrative is to give them the bag.
Absolutely.
And you're saying that the Department of Justice said that folks were getting up to $100,000 per episode to push the false narrative
of Vladimir Putin.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And now you're saying that this guy, what's this white boy name again?
Tim Pool. Tim Pool.
You're saying that Tim Pool said, yeah, I took the bag and I was duped.
Yes, 100%. Tim Pool is notorious for many reasons, but yes, he did confess on his timeline that he was a part of that, saying that he did not realize where the money was coming from.
God damn. I'm sorry. Hold on, fam. Hold on. Somebody give you 100 grand
and you don't know where it's coming
where
from.
it came from.
Per episode, Dr. Mack. Not per month, but per episode, and you don't know where it's coming from. You didn't investigate it.
I can't.
Where they do that at?
Oh my God, man. Go ahead, man. Come on.
So, but this is in context of the question that you asked about clicks, clout, and checks. And do we know of any people who are participating?
Black folk. I'm talking about black folk.
Black folks for clicks, clout, and checks. Let's start with first the infamous, the late Kevin Samuels, who was well known for all that he said about Black women and created the platform that he did. I want you to listen to this clip of Kevin Samuels in his own words. And you'll notice in this clip, Dr. Mack, that he's a lot younger. He's a lot slimmer. This was before he got put on. He's not dressed as nice. He's sitting in his car, and he makes the point very clear about what would happen if he said one message versus the other message, which is talking about Black women.
And a lot of times guys don't want to hear that truth. We just don't. You know, if I come on here talking about, you know, female nature, such and so forth, and if I would start bashing women or talking noise, oh man, the likes and everything will go through the roof.
There he is. It's a short clip, but you can hear it very directly, making it clear. And to me, this falls into the category of clicks. You know, no one that I know offered him a check, but certainly he made it clear that if he talks about a very specific message, he would get the clicks. And as we all know, the reason we all know that he passed away was because he became extremely famous for talking bad about Black women.
Now, I don't know the dude. I don't follow the dude. But every now and again, I've scrolled through Instagram and I'll see his click going. I can't. I don't listen to it. So this is the guy. This tape we just saw is him before he got the bag. And him saying that, look, man, if I come out and I talk about the good stuff about Black folks and in particular Black women, ain't nobody paying me no attention. But the moment I start bashing, in particular Black women, my clicks and clout are going to go up. Is that what I heard?
You heard the same thing. Your ears are not lying to you. That's exactly what he said. And that's exactly what he did over the years. You see his entire style change from that. His entire brand changed from that. And so, well, he wasn't, maybe no one came to him and write him a check to do it. It's certainly an algorithm pleaser, Dr. Mack, because one thing white men love to hear. One thing, I don't know if I ever told you this. November of 2023, I logged onto Twitter, minding my own business. And up at the top of Twitter, someone was having a Twitter space. It's like the Clubhouse where you just go on and talk with people. And the title of that Twitter space was, quote, "Are there too many Black women in public?" And it had thousands of people in it, Dr. Mack. And it was triggering for me, but I could only imagine how triggering it was for Black women. And there was a white man running a space with a bunch of white supremacists laughing it up. And there were Black men in there advancing the same story. Is there too many Black women in public spaces? So me being who I am, I started a counter space saying, are there too many white men in public spaces? And the has lost their mind. But the point is that if you attack Black women online, the algorithm will reward you. And that's exactly what Kevin Samuel said.
And see, Ben, because I don't know, but now when you told me about this guy, I went and looked up some stuff. And I started seeing that he was promoting different colognes and different this and that. So I'm assuming that when he started bashing sisters, the likes and clicks started going up. People who wanted to sell products said, oh, well, this guy has this huge audience, so let's pay him the bag to promote our product. Is that the way that was working?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're right. There you go. If he had endorsements, then somebody was sending him a check. Yeah.
On the backs of sisters.
On the backs of Black women. Absolutely. Another example A brother who built his entire brand initially off of being so pro-Black. He was pro-Black everything. He was part of the Pan-African movement. He was supportive of Haitians back in the day. Tariq Nasheed is his name. There's a clip of him that has been released years ago where he made it clear that he had been offered a quote unquote huge bag by white networks to attack immigrants. Dr. Mack, this was before he started to attack immigrants. I'll let you hear it for yourself.
Black as I am, they would love for me to join with them to dump on some Black immigrants. There's a huge bag for that. Let me tell y'all something. I've gotten calls from these white networks wanting to put me on and give me a real big bag to get on TV and get out here and start throwing Black immigrants under the bus with them.
That shit, a whole tribe, a village of people got AIDS. They know they just gonna come over here and just get into Black society, so what would stop them? You know, let's think about that. Let's put your thinking caps on. They know when African immigrants come over here, they're not going nowhere, but they're going to come right among Black society.
There you go. He admitted out of his own voice.
Ben, hold on, Ben. See this, first of all, I ain't on Twitter. And so I don't follow a lot of these folks. So I just want to be clear, man. You know these folks. So the first thing you showed us, that the young, handsome brother in the suit is the same brother that we saw later sitting in the chair with the black shirt on.
That's the same guy.
Okay, so the brother in the suit made it very clear. Now, Ben, maybe I don't hear as well. I'm 62, so I don't hear like I used to. But what I heard the beautiful, handsome brother say was that they offered me the bag.
A huge bag.
To come and trash Black immigrants. And I got the sense that he had that Malcolm, Marcus Garvey spirit. Man, go on with me. Take your dirty 30 pieces of silver and go on about your business. Judas don't live here. That's what I got a sense of.
That's right.
And so you telling me that the same guy that we just saw sitting in the chair talking about African immigrants, that's the same guy.
Same guy who is now today not only talking about African immigrants, but he's dogpiling on with white supremacists with the Haitian cat lie out of Springfield, Ohio. He is also one of these guys who's attacking Kamala Harris's blackness.
Ben, let's just stop. I just want to I want to ask a plain question. Why is he doing that, Ben?
Your guess is as good as mine, but I think
Ben, come on, man.
We can take his word for it.
Ben, that was a setup question. I ain't got no damn guess about it. The man just told you I'm doing it because I'm getting the bag. Damn. God damn.
I like that reaction better because it's clear as day, Dr. Mack.
Yes.
Let me give you one more fine detail, Dr. Mack. I never shared this part of the story that I told you about the Twitter spaces where they asked, are there too many black women in public spaces? And I started a counter one. Are there too many white men in public spaces? It made the white supremacists so mad. They were in my replies. They were in my comment section on Twitter. And I just watched the conversation. I didn't interact. I just watched. They called me everything but a child of God. Don't care about that part. Here's the part. They said, don't worry about Dixon. Tariq Nasheed is our guy.
Oh.
Now, I never said anything about that, Dr. Mack, because I did not get a screenshot. I'm so mad at myself. I didn't get a screenshot. So for years, I just kept that to myself. But you know what? This corresponds 1-to-1 with what he said out of his mouth, that he was contacted by white supremacist groups and offered a huge bag in order to attack immigrants.
Okay, Ben. How many followers and listeners does this guy have on his platform?
366,000 followers on Twitter. And on YouTube, he has 244,000 subscribers, and we don't even know how big his email list is.
Okay, so fam, I'm just saying this to you. I don't know this dude. I'm sitting here, I'm listening to the before and after, right? And this is, and we're wondering, now take this back to that 77%, Ben, with Kamala, because you got influencers. And think about it now, in its quintessential meaning what the term influence means. I'm going to help you. I'm going to influence you. I'm going to get you away from Kamala, and I'm going to bring you over to Trump. And there's a motivation. There's a reason I'm going to do it. Not because I care about the culture, because I'm finna get paid for it.
That's right.
Damn.
Clicks, clout, and checks.
What's this brother's name again, Ben?
Tariq Nasheed. He is the founder of the fundamental Black American movement, this hashtag FBA movement that is at the very forefront of talking about Kamala Harris, but saying specifically that she is not a Black American. That's his organization. I got one more example for you, Dr. Mack.
Oh, man, shit. You're killing me, man.
I know. We've been going at it for a while, but I got to set this one up a little differently because I know this young man, and to be honest with you, I have a great deal of love for this brother, but I have lost a significant amount of respect for him. I mentioned to you Tim Pool, who had received 100.
When he got duped.
Yes, who claimed he got duped by taking $100,000 per episode from the Putin propaganda network.
And he didn't know where it came from.
He didn't even investigate who's paying him $100,000 per episode. I guess he thought he was that qualified, but I digress. I want to also put into this the fact that he is a committed white supremacist, in my opinion. I have heard his words. I've seen what he talks about, how he talks about Black people. I've seen how he mocks the death of George Floyd and so many other of our martyrs. This is a type of Black man, a white man rather, who engages in stories about the insufficiency of Blackness. And he is absolutely not an audience that I would ever go to on friendly terms. I say that to say that my good brother, Jamal Green from Chicago, Illinois, Jamal Green.
Okay, Ben, look, I don't know this cat, but I'm listening to the adjectives that you putting in front of him, and you telling me who's he associating with. And Ben, you are of the cloth now, so I'm gonna say that, but just know that the picture you painting for me right now, good brother and love, them ain't the kind of adjectives that I'm thinking about. But proceed, fam, proceed.
Well, Dr. Mack, what can you do but share? I want you to take a look at this clip of my good brother, Jamal Green, as he sits with this Russian propagandist, Tim Pool, who received $100,000 per episode. But what's most important to me is what he's doing with this white audience. And I'm not suggesting by any measure that he received a check. I don't know that. I'm not suggesting that. But I will suggest that this is clicks and clout. This is for subscribers. This is for notoriety. And I'll let you hear what in his own words.
Man, all the mayors were just like corrupt, bad.
Oh, they all were corrupt, for sure. But I think that, every mayor of Chicago has been corrupt. That we know. The problem with Brandon is that his IQ is so low that he don't know how to be corrupt, right? And so you just have like a shell guy up there that we're feeling sorry for because he don't know how to lead, and run a city. He doesn't make any decisions. He just walk around and take pictures, so it's like you don't have a leader, right?
Because he'll say whatever they want to hear.
He'll say what they want to hear.
And then you end up with, as you described, the lowest IQ mayor?
The lowest IQ mayor the city has ever had. His approval rating is 27%. He hasn't even been mayor 2 years. I'm telling you how people feel about him.
Dude.
And the migrant crisis is one of the biggest crises too that's driving that.
Did you notice how Tim Pool teed up the low IQ part for a repeat?
But Ben, hold on a second now. So the brother is Jamal Green, right?
Jamal Green, yes, sir.
Jamal Green. So Ben, I Googled the brother's name as he was talking. Am I right that this brother used to be a president of Black Lives Matter in Chicago?
Absolutely.
The same brother that we just heard.
Absolutely.
The same brother that we just heard talking about the IQ of another Black man on a show with a white dude who's been getting the bag to push a false narrative, and his makeup, this white guy's show is primarily watched by white nationalists, white supremacists.
MAGA. That's his audience. And just to put a fine point on it, Tim Pool teed up the laugh, the punchline, the lowest IQ, a black man talking about the IQ of another black man with a white man so that they can all get their and giggles. And to boot, at the very end, you notice how he threw in the migrants? It's all tied together. These are black folks who are not only willing to attack other black people, but they're specifically willing to attack immigrants, whether they're black or not. And they're willing to do it on behalf of white folks in order to either get clicks, clout, or checks.
Ben, let me say this to you. This part of the conversation on the whole social media world, I'm not as savvy as you are. You said, look, Brother Mack, I want you to listen to these brothers, and I'm going to give you their background. And then I want you to listen to them yesterday, and I want you to listen to them today. I heard, the first guy in the car, Samuels.
Kevin, yes.
Kevin Samuels, the guy who made his bag off of demonizing and blasting black women. The second guy,
Tariq Nasheed,
told us he was offered bag if he spoke bad about immigrants. And then he spoke as though, I ain't doing that. The culture means more to me. My blackness means more to me. I'm not your Black Judas. And then we turn around and hear him doing it.
That's right.
And then now you close with showing me this guy, this young cat Green.
Jamal Green.
Who used to be a leader with the Black Lives Matter movement. And of all shows, he goes on the show of a white man who has admitted he has taken the bag to push a false narrative whose audience is made up of white nationalists and supremacists that don't give a damn about us. And he's on his show skinning and grinning at the expense of questioning another black man's IQ.
It's terrifying what some people will do, what some black people will do for clicks, clout, and checks. See you next time.
The melanin on me, my cheekbone is native, the soil is my where I walk. Some demons on me, my nigga, go figure my enemy, make enemy scoff. Admitted your energy off. My frequency killer, you soft. I show people love, they act like they above it, but switch when they see me, I'm lost.